Welcome, friends and two-wheeled brothers, to another episode of Let's Ride This Bike.
Excellent!
This is Pete from Backdraft, and we are here to demo, well, an oldie but a goodie, shall we say. This is the 2016 Speed Triple 1050R.
Yarr.
And this bike here is a predecessor of the new bikes that they've just come out with here in the 2019 range. But the dealer had this bike. It's a leftover demo. My buddies at Paul Bluen, they're like, hey man, you ought to hop on this bike and see what you think. So, well, what do? I mean, when someone hands you one of these bikes, you got to take it for a ride, right?
Yes.
So let's check this baby out, and then we're gonna crack her open and see what she can do. I love these 1050s. I had one of these similar motor structure on my Explorer. That was a little different motor, obviously, but kind of the same principle. These bikes here, though, are made for speed. A lot of cool carbon fiber on this. We've got an awesome looking carbon fiber front fender, also some little tank side here, carbon fiber embellishments. And as you look around on this bike, you can see, man, it just looks awesome. Cool looking dual exhaust. It's got a nice note too. Little crossover pipe before that comes up. A Y pipe branches out to the two, so it is a true dual exhaust from the midpoint back. Also, we've got Olin suspension front and rear, and the Olin suspension in the rear is really nice. It's fully adjustable and two really easy to use dials. One of the things on my Scrambler, my new Scrambler that I have, the adjustments are a little bit trickier because you've got to have kind of chopstick fingers to activate it. This here, no problem. In fact, I would not be nervous about even using gloves on them because they're right there. I like the fact that Triumph doesn't make this thing look like a fishing lure. So there's a lot of matte black, matte silver type finishes. It's not all shiny and bling bling.
Oh, crap.
Again, the carbon fiber embellishments really looking nice. I like the bar end mirrors too. I've always been a fan of bar end mirrors, and we've got our iconic bug eye Triumph signature on their speed triples as well. The radiator is kind of cool. It curves around, so I'm sure that that allows the narrowing of the bike, and you still have a good amount of surface area. There's also an oil cooler mounted underneath it, and the seat is not too bad. I sat on it a little bit right when I left the dealer. It definitely wants to push you into the tank. So again, I'm 6'4". I'm a tall guy, but the seat height on this bike is 32.5 inches. So it's pretty friendly for the guy with the smaller inseam as well, I would say. Power specs on this bike: 140 horsepower, and I think, although it's not really published too much, I think it's around 82 foot-pounds of torque. So there's a pretty good difference between the horsepower to torque on this bike. So that'll be interesting. I've been used to riding the Thumpers, the Twins now, and those are so torquey. So we'll see. But I've had quite a few speed triples on the 955 variety, and I'm really anxious to see how this 1050 works out. Weight on this bike, 423 pounds, so it's not super duper heavy, and it looks cool. We got another little thing I noticed on this is this red ladder bar thing, almost kind of copying the Ducati look, right? Ducati does that on a couple of their bikes, so I know haters are going to hate now. You have permission to do such, but I did notice that. Also, single-sided swing arm, super cool. I just love that because you got one nut, you take your tire off, you can do your adjustments. It's pretty cool. These are running the Diablo Super Corsa tires, so Pirelli makes a pretty decent tire for these, and I've had these tires before, but I will say that they don't wear the greatest. Of course, on a bike that's meant for speed, do you want a tire to wear good or be sticky? That's the thing you have to think about. So let's take this baby for a quick spin. What we're going to do is we're actually going to get on I-95 up here in Maine, and we're going to take it up the highway for an exit, and we'll see how it feels. standard keys thing. Had a problem with this at the dealer, getting this thing to come on. There we go. Please start. Thank you. There we go. 112 miles on this bike. It's relatively a new bike. Your stance sitting on this bike is very much forward, like a Street Fighter sport bike would be. The seat is pitched towards the gas tank, so you know it's forcing you down. It's making you bear weight down on your wrists on the bars themselves. And again, they do that for a couple different reasons. The geometry of the steering and weighting the front fork like that allow you to really manhandle the bike.
No.
So you can whip it into a corner, and because your weight is bearing down on the front forks, the steering isn't so apt to get loose and wiggly. So, speaking about my old speed triples that I had before, they were nice around town, a little bit rough on the bumps, and I can feel this bike is very similar. Of course, the suspension is mucho adjustable. So my speed triples, while I enjoyed them before around town, on the highway is where they shined. And the reason why is because, well, they're built to rock and roll. I will say the seat on this is actually not too bad because of the way that it's designed. I am wearing my Triumph riding pants right now, so they're a little slippery and they don't bunch up, not to be too weird.
No.
But they're good for riding. So let's see how this does. Very good handling. These tires are excellent. Oh yeah. As no surprise, she's got some power there, Bubba. You know, for a naked bike, you're in the wind, but there's just enough protection coming off of this little dash area that actually makes it not bad. Coming off of my scrambler right now, I will tell you that the buffeting from that, because you're sitting straight up into the wind, you're like a sail, ahoy.
Yo ho ho.
You do feel it a lot more, and I'm behind a car right now, so I should be getting some good. But this thing wants to go. You can feel it. Yeah, very, very nice. Again, this isn't a Honda Goldwing. You're not completely protected by a big shroud, but even in the side of this semi-truck here, where normally in the wash of that big spoiler they have off the cab of the truck, you would be being pitched around, and that's not the case here. Very, very nimble. Very nimble. Alright, we're going to get off. Just wanted to be able to feel the experience of being in the highway situation, just to see what she was going to feel like. Not surprised. It liked it. It liked it very much. Alright, so I'm gonna, when I get on the on-ramp here, as long as there's no traffic, I'll be able to give you an idea about how this is. So we're gonna be in second gear. And the truck's not in front of us, so that's nice. So we'll go slow up to this yield sign, and then I'll give us some. We're gonna roll on first gear. Ready? Yeah. See, that's why I couldn't own one of these bikes, because I would be in jail right now. Wow. Super duper smooth on the power delivery, right up to the top. I mean, it wasn't like I lagged or at all. This bike just, it wanted to go, and it loved it. It's a very bad girl, that's for sure. Again, so impressed with the balance of the suspension versus the harshness. Like the ride versus the handling. I mean, I just went over those bridge seams and I didn't lose anything. It's nice. And the buffeting of the wind is very tolerable behind this truck right now. Normally, I would be getting tossed around. I am a little bit, but it's not bad at all. And you can feel, again, this bike just, it's in its element. On the back roads and the twisties, as long as they were somewhat smooth, I think this bike would come alive. On the highway, it speaks to me. It's at home. Very, very, very good power curve for the highway. This bike would be one of those bikes where I would pay a track fee and take it out for a little while. Absolutely. I almost want to get back on the highway and back off again. That was so enjoyable. But I got to get back and check on my bike. Here we go. Yesha bub with the tractor. How'd you like to get hit with that thing in the head? Yesha. You'd know it. So again, I'll give you a little. Yeah, the front tire comes right up. You can feel it get weightless. And the shifting on this is pretty smooth. Pretty smooth indeed. No problem at all getting out of its own way. Well, it's 140 horses, so it shouldn't. And the brakes, you could stand this bike up on its nose if you wanted to. Here we go again. Traction control just kicked in. Yeah, it's nice. Very, very nice. Very well balanced. Very nimble. Flickable, as we like to say. And we're going to get the pleasure of another red light, which on this bike, we're okay with that. Hopefully you can hear the exhaust note. It's actually kind of refreshing. Not bad at all. I'm going to flip my windscreen up. Perhaps it will allow the resonance to come through a little bit better. Here we go. Wheelie. Second gear. Third gear. I like. Yeah, we're gonna bring this back to its rightful owner because I want to try another one. Paul Blue and Bob. Yesha. Oh, he's got all types of bikes out here for me. We got a Speed Twin. We got the new one. I mean, life is good. All right, if you like this video, subscribe and throw me a comment below. Smash that heart button.